Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. At the Eagles' very narrow win against the Bills. That was an exciting finish. But first, how was your Christmas, Lance? How did it go? Did you have a good week?
Andrew had a great Christmas. We My parents got my son a car station. Like it's kind of like you put on the tires, take off the tires, you practice the steering, doing the gas and the brakes, work on the windshield and stuff. Anyway, but I my wife was like, it should take like 30 minutes. And man, it was anything but 30 minutes. It was like a 2.5 hour process going as
Wow.
fast as I could. And it was just, well, part of the problem is the like pre-assembly stuff, like, the ones that are just like, oh, I just have to drill it together. Well, there was a couple of the
Hmm.
holes that were not drilled in the right spot.
Of course. Of course.
So I ended up having to do my own drilling anyway.
Yep.
Um,
Hmm.
which, shout out to some of my adult friends that helped me be able to do that because that was something we didn't really work on when I was a kid, but has come in handy time and time and time again. Um, But yeah, oh, actually, here's a trick I wanted to tell people, Andrew. This is something that a lot of new dads might not be aware of. If
Okay.
you're, let's say you're working on something and you drilled a hole that was a tad bit too large, that you're going to need to put a screw in, and the screw moves comfortably in the hole. Just take a
Hmm.
couple of toothpicks, break them in
Hmm.
half, stuff them in the hole, and you're good to go. The toothpick fibers will break down and fill the gap that is missing. So don't panic on a project. That doesn't mean you need to throw away the piece of wood. Just
Hmm.
grab some toothpicks, fill the hole, and you're good to go. So, because that was part of the
Life
problem
advice
was,
from Lance. That's a
oh
life
yeah,
hack right there.
that's what I'm here for. You give the dad jokes, I'll give
There you go.
the dad tips. No, but it was
There
good,
you
man. It
go.
was great. Landon ran down our hall in the morning and was so excited to see
Mm,
the gifts that were
hmm.
out there. One thing I am grateful for, this is another thing that I'm grateful for as far as like in our life is my wife had the suggestion when we first got married and we were thinking about having kids that the majority of the gifts, if there are going to be multiple gifts, should be from the family and not from Santa. So that way, if kids talk about it at school, there's no comparison of why does Santa love that
Mm,
kid more than me? And
mm.
I think that was an A plus decision by my wife. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we're more on the lines of probably not doing a Santa, but we're not fully sure yet. We're still in discussion mode because Timothy's only one, so he doesn't know yet. But next year is going to be the first year, like, okay, now we can really have a Christmas. So we're excited about that.
Andrew, I just want to take a moment to all the 10 years, or those kids of 10 years and below that we just ruined their Christmas. So sorry. Hope hope you're okay.
Hmm.
What about you guys though, man? What did you guys do for Tim?
We just had low key stuff. We had grandma over. We ate some food. She babysat for a little bit, and then my wife and I went and saw David in theaters,
Oh,
and it was
cool.
good. Yeah, it was good. We enjoyed it. Um, there's a couple scenes that are semi scary for especially young kiddos, so that's why we kind of wanted to see it before we have Timothy watch it. But overall, it was pretty good. We enjoyed it. Um, and then when we got back from the theater, right into the Vikings game, we'll talk about that in the next episode. That was a great Christmas present. Um, and then after that, we all got sick. So I'm sounding a little off today. This is the best day I've had since probably Christmas. But I'm on the mend. We're getting there. Timothy had a really rough day on Sunday. He couldn't keep anything down, throwing everything up. This is the first time he's really been sick his whole life. So we've been lucky. He's over a year old, and this is his first illness. So, we'll take that. Um, Praise God for that. But overall, it was pretty good. Just low key hanging out, and then all three of us got sick at the same time. So it was almost kind of a good little family recovery process. We all could just hang out, and I'm working from home all week. Took some time off to help recover and help other two kind of recover as well. And it's been a lot of sleep, a lot of rest, but it's been good.
That's good, man. My wife and I, we actually went with our family to go see David a couple days after Christmas.
Okay.
Um, so that was cool. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Some parts I think were a little cheesy, but
Yeah.
overall, it was pretty good. I was happy. It kind of reminded me of Prince of Egypt type of a movie,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
nice. It's nice to have that type of entertainment there for family.
For
So,
sure, for sure. And we're gonna be watching The King of Kings here soon with Timothy. I think that's on Peacock right now. And it's just the full story of Jesus said by oh, I forgot his name, but the guy who wrote Scrooge. Um oh man, I forgot his name. But he tells his story to his kiddo, the whole story of Jesus' life. So I was like, hey, we'll watch that. That sounds pretty cool.
I didn't realize that's on Peacock.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was scrolling through it the other day. I was like, is that what I think it is? And I was like, oh, it is. Cool. We'll have to watch that.
Yeah, I wonder if that's because of um, the semi-Catholic connection to NBC that's on
Maybe.
that one. So,
Maybe.
yeah, who knows? Well, that's cool, man. That's awesome. Glad you guys had a good Christmas. So, I
Yeah.
also forgot to say that the best part of the Christmas for me that was just hilarious was, my daughter, she's not anywhere close to appreciate Christmas, but we
Hmm.
got her a little baby doll. And the first thing that she does right after she opens it is she puts the baby doll's head into her mouth. Have a have an awesome photo that just captures the moment. It's just like, yes,
Hmm.
this is
How
perfect.
old is she now?
She's almost 9 months now.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I thought she was kind of creeping on a year. So yeah,
yeah, man, it's crazy. It goes by fast.
it sure does. It sure does. Well, all right. Should we get into it?
Yeah, man. Starting with the Eagles game.
Yes. I think that sounds good.
Oh, no. We're going to start good news first, Andrew. There's a quote I have to share,
Okay.
and I'll get to it later. But um, I just want to take a moment to say, um, because I think there are some Eagles fans that are feeling a little frustrated with the results on Sunday because they wanted it to be a more enjoyable win. And I hear you. I hear you, Eagles fans. I hear you. I hear your frustration. But I think we should just take a moment to remember that just a few weeks ago, the concern was, is this 2023 all over again? And after 3 weeks, I think you can firmly say, no, it's not 2023. I don't know if it's going to be 2024. I don't know if it's going to be 2022 where we can make it to the Super Bowl, but it's at least not 2023. Um, rattling off 3 wins in a row, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Um, so I just want to acknowledge that. Glad the Eagles have been able to win three in a row. Glad they've been able to turn over a semi new leaf to kind of rebound. Um, but um, maybe I'll just start with some off the cuff observations, some off the cuff,
Mm.
um, shout outs to players. So the Eagles only got 5 sacks on Sunday, and that might not sound like a ton of sacks, but interesting enough, that's the second most sacks the Bills have allowed in a game this season.
Yeah. That's huge.
That's a really big deal.
Hmm.
Um, so it was a great game. The part that was interesting is that the Eagles were most successful on getting to Josh Allen when they did not blitz. It was when they
Mm.
brought four. And the reason why I think that's a huge success is sure, it's great in that game, but here's coming down the stretch. We either have Rams first round, Niners first round, or Packers first round. And I think each of those quarterbacks that the Eagles would face, if you can find a way to beat the other team with only rushing four, your
Hmm.
chances of having coverage that's more solid in better position, less issues with handoffs not happening between defenders and zone schemes, because Vic Fangio is definitely his zone guy. Um, you just have a better chance if you're only bringing four. If you're bringing six, it just makes it far more complicated to switch between five guys versus between seven. It's easier to spread the field. It's easier to not get caught out of position on a speed route going deep into the end zone. Um, so fairly happy with that outcome. Um, One thing too, I was thinking about. I don't think I've given Zach Bond enough credit on this podcast. I think I
Mm.
kind of just gloss over his successes, but he only had one tackle for a loss and he had six tackles total. But um, on a fourth down, Josh Allen is running or seeking to run into the end zone, and he gets real close. Zach Bond's coming down on him. A lineman comes in front, and so he has to work around the offensive lineman, and he still clips Josh Allen just enough to take him down before the end zone. It was a huge play. If the Bills score on that possession, which I believe that was in the first half, um, it's a very different game. Um, no, it was in the third quarter. Um, but yeah, it happened with 2:25 left in the third quarter where Josh Allen runs and Zach Bond takes him down. But it was a huge play. It was just a sign of what a brilliant move to get Zach Bond. It's
Yeah.
amazing. You took this wash up who was a special teamer that was considered a rocket of a tackler, and you were able to say, no, this kid has value. And I'm kind of interested, how long is his career going to be? It's kind of tough because I think he's about 30, but he's played almost no significant playing time in his career that it
Yeah.
makes it tough to know he's 29 years old. And by the way, he turned 30 as of yesterday. Happy belated birthday,
Oh,
Zach Bond.
yeah. Happy birthday. Because he
Um,
watches the show,
obviously, I mean, this
obviously.
is this is the only podcast he listens to.
Right.
Um, but I mean, I just want to give him a shout out. He had a great game. The defensive line as a total had a great game. Here's something else interesting that I wanted to share. I've mentioned Moro Ojimo on this podcast, and I've talked about how
Hmm.
I said that I think he has the chance to take off. Well, this year, let me just look up the numbers to make sure I got this 100% right. Yes, he has more sacks this year than Milton Williams had last year.
That's big. Yeah.
So he's got six sacks. He's got 21 assisted tackles compared to Milton Williams having 13 assisted tackles, and he's had so he has 21 assisted tackles. He had 16 combined. So this has been a great year for Moro Ojimo, considering the gap he was asked to fill, the role he was expected to step into. He's done such a great job. Um, but I mean, it doesn't stop there. We also have to give Jordan Davis some credit. He didn't
Mm.
have any sacks in the game, but again, he's just filling the gap. He's doing his job. Jalen Carter, same thing. It's just, I'm really impressed, Andrew, because right now, if you asked me, what are Howie Roseman's misses as a GM for drafting? It's tough to think of one. I
Yeah.
can't. And here's the thing: don't tell me that a sixth round pick or a fifth or I'd say fourth
Oh,
round or
no.
lower is a miss. No, those are
No.
those are dart
Depth.
shots.
Yeah. Those are depth pieces that maybe they're going to play special teams.
Absolutely. But I mean, his early picks have just been outstanding. When Cooper
Hmm.
DeJean fell to the second round of the draft, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the Commanders
Hmm.
didn't want him.
Yes.
And
Yes. When I was
trading,
watching that draft as well, and I was thinking, man, the Eagles just keep getting what they need at discounts. I was like, why is the league letting this happen?
I know. It's 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 um it's a credit to Howie Roseman, and I just want to make it
Hmm.
clear, Howie Roseman did not used to be this. If you asked Eagles fans, it used to be that he was the free agency guy, but he was horrible drafting. And we've not had that issue. You know, he
Hmm.
he took that Justin Jefferson miss and he took it to heart. That was
Hmm.
going to be the last time that he was going to be that wrong on two players. You know, because everyone knows Jalen Rager was. I don't even know if a bust is the right word because the skepticism among fans was so great before he was even drafted. He was who we thought he was. Um, so anyway, back to the game. Sorry, got sidetracked there. Jalen Phillips. I shared this stat with
Yeah.
everyone in the chat, and um, I just want to give Jalen Phillips some credit here. He has really come into his role. And he's done a great job of making sure that we don't put ourselves in a position to not be able to succeed. Um, I'm just scrolling back here to get to that statistic. Um,
It was something to the fact of since that trade, you guys have the best scoring defense in the NFL, something like that.
yes, I just wanted to show the statistics, but I might not be able to. That's okay. I won't find it this time. But yes, that's to the fact that they've had the best defense since Jalen Phillips has come to Philadelphia.
Hmm.
Um, and the part that I just want to give credit for is twofold. One, I really did think that Jalen Phillips was a great trade. But two, there was so much talk among Eagles fans. Hey, you got to go for Myles Garrett. You got to go for Max Crosby. And it's
Yeah.
like, is it really worth to make a trade that torpedoes your team? Like I want to say it again, just because of the fact that we're seeing it play out in Jacksonville. Jacksonville has found receivers to be successful and to do well,
Ever
and
since that
they're not
Myers
named,
trade, they've been awesome, and it's not
but they're
Travis Hunter.
yeah, but they're not Travis Hunter. And,
Hmm.
and I just think that there's something to say for that. That sometimes the big flashy trade in the draft just doesn't work out the way you think it will. Um, I mean, unless you're sure, like Patrick Mahomes was for the Kansas City Chiefs, making a trade like that is just not worth it. And I've said Ashton Jeanty before, but you're telling me that Travis Hunter was a better option than Ted McMillan or Ashton Jeanty. And there's other players we could go on and just, but even in that small sample size in the same draft range, you wouldn't have to give up any draft capital for those two people. And you could have stayed where you were, picked them up, and gotten huge value. But no, you had to go secure that guy, give up a second round and first round pick to go get that person. It's just a very interesting move. And so I just want to say that back to the Jalen Phillips move, sometimes it's okay to not get the max value or the best valued person. Sometimes you just need to get a scheme fit, someone that can
Hmm.
fill a gap that was obviously there and help do
And you don't have
things.
to send too much draft capital for.
I mean, a third round pick for what we got out of Jalen
It's
Phillips,
not bad. That's a great deal.
it's a
Yeah.
steal. And from
Hmm.
everything I'm hearing, there's a legitimate shot that Jalen Phillips might not want a top market deal to stay in Philadelphia. I'm not saying he's going to take like pennies on the dollar, but maybe he's taking 75 cents on the dollar compared to the dollar.
Hmm.
And if that does happen, that's a great win for the Eagles. To be able to get someone like that that's still in their prime. Yes, injury issues were an issue in the past, so we'll have to see if that reemerges. Um, but I think that the reason why Jalen Phillips is having success, we've kind of talked about this before with other things, but sometimes um, just getting someone else to fill a void rather than expecting him to do everything can help them in terms of their success. Because I think in Miami, Jalen's role was a little more you are the defense besides Chubb. It's you and Chubb. That's it. That's all we have. And when you put that much pressure on a player, I think it can hurt them. Like the Buffalo Bills, for example, they have put so much expectation on Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir. They're unrealistic expectations. They will not be met. You will continue to be disappointed. Um, and if you just get another receiver to pair with them, you could be surprised by what Shakir could become because the fact that the expectations are lowered and you're not putting as much stress on what you're requiring him to do. But you look at this game, speaking to that, Andrew, it's a great example of the fact that you have to be willing to give um, realistic expectations to your players. And that's one thing I think that Vic Fangio has done well this season is when he came to Philadelphia, I heard listened to multiple podcasts and reporters about this. But Vic Fangio has a relationship with his players where, hey, I'll let you do what you prove. If you can prove
Hmm.
that you can show that like that you can follow the concept, I'll give you a chance. Zach Bond, perfect example. Zach, we're going to give you first team reps at linebacker. I'm seeing something. I want you to have a chance to flourish. Reporters in Philadelphia, this is a crazy move. What a dumb idea. They're taking a special teamer. Can they really expect this guy to cover defender wide receivers and tight ends in the NFL? Well, we were proved right. But I think that there are some coaches that struggle. You know, sometimes they want to give in to the players' demands and wishes, and because they want to be the players' friends. But you have to be willing to tell your players, look, you just don't have it. You can't do
Mhm.
this. Well, let's try this. Let's work on this concept. So I want to give Vic Fangio credit there. He's done so well helping the defense to be polished and successful. End of game was a bit troubling, but we'll get to the offensive side of things that I think deserve a little blame for it. Um, so I think those are all my notes for defense. I'll come back to the 2 point conversion at the end of the game because I think that we need to include offensive notes to really appreciate the full sequence of the
Mhm.
game. Um, but oh, I one other person. I mean, DeJean had a good game. Jahad Campbell did well filling in for Nakobe Dean. The Eagles got a really
Mhm.
big. It's going to be a hard off season. I don't know what you do because you have Jahad Campbell and you have, or excuse me, Nakobe Dean and Jalen Phillips coming up as free agents. You've got a decision to make about Jordan Davis. You've got a decision to
Yep.
make about Jalen Carter. So a lot of good but tough decisions. So interested to see how those play out. One thing I do want to say and mention is though Marcus Epps, he's been filling in for Makuba, and he honestly had a pretty good day. There were not many times that I like wanted to curse his name or be like, "Man, you're the reason this team's losing." And Adoree Jackson, another game where just enough, just enough to show that he could be the number two corner. Um, I do want to throw out there we should not resign him. It was a great 1 year experiment. Don't double down on a thank goodness this worked out move. Um, like I would not, I don't think the Eagles should be excited about Adoree Jackson's play. I think we should be grateful and say goodbye. That's the way I would approach it. Go get someone else. We absolutely need another corner. He's not the answer long term. Um, okay,
Do you want to go sign Diggs? In the
if he
past, he's
gets
been really good, but also in the past, he's been a locker room headache and he's been injury prone. So it's kind of
right,
like,
if we don't pick him up on waivers, I'm open to it.
oh yeah,
We
for
can't.
sure. You're not accepting that contract. That's insane.
Well, I mean, I would like to think that, but someone might pick him up on waivers. Someone might
Yeah.
think there's enough value there.
Someone might take that contract. Yeah. Yeah, but I
If he
wouldn't.
if he doesn't get picked up, if he's open to the practice squad, get him. If he's open to a soft comeback, let's see what he has. Let's see what he looks like.
Hmm.
Absolutely. If he wants to be a starter right now, no, I don't think it's worth it. Because if things don't work out and he's signed on your team, then it's just going to be this awkward issue.
Hmm.
And I don't think you need that as a team. But if he knows that he needs to come in with low expectations, I think that's different. So it's worth monitoring. But my hope that he can be something right now is, well, let's put it this way: if Darius Slay and Diggs were on the market, I would take Slay because of the experience. I feel like Slay has enough knowledge that you could use him in certain spots. You can't use him for deep ball routes now. I think we saw that in Pittsburgh that he's not what he was. Um,
Hmm.
whereas Diggs, I think it's a little bit of an unknown quandary, and I'm not sure you want to open up that can of worms. Like I said, it all depends. It all depends on the setup. If he's willing to come on the practice squad, learn things, and progress, then I don't think it's an issue. If he is um, wanting something bigger right now and really wants to flash and starts to get frustrated by the progress, then it's not going to work. Because Vic Fangio is notorious for saying that he's not going to start you until he thinks you're ready.
Hmm.
Last year, Cooper DeJean didn't play for us until like week 5. And a lot of fans were wondering, what is our second round pick doing? And his opinion is, I'm not going to start you until you're ready. I'm going to give you the time to give enough tools in your tool belt to make sure that your first appearance goes well. And honestly, that's smart because for players that are struggling and have mental sensitivity, and I don't want to make that sound like a bad thing, right? Some players are mentally tough that just no matter what happens, they're going to continue to believe themselves and continue to build on their confidence. Some players, it's not the case. Um, so we'll see what happens on that front. But it's a good question. It's fair. What would you do if you were Philadelphia?
I would have that conversation internally and maybe talk to his representation, maybe talk to him, say, "Hey, this is our thoughts, but kind of like you were laying out, this is our strategy we will have for you if you want to come join us and have a shot at winning a Super Bowl." Because Philadelphia's in the playoffs. They're easily one of the top three contenders in the NFC. So if you want to have a shot at a Super Bowl, these are our expectations and this is our strategy. Do you want to come join us? I would have that conversation because
Yeah,
like you said all year, and everyone can see CB2 is the weakness of the Eagles defense. And if Diggs can come in as a CB2 and can stay healthy and can be a team player, that could be a big change. That could be a big difference. So I would just internally and externally have that conversation, not reach out and desperately sign them just because you're looking to get someone, but have that thought process open to see if it's a good fit.
yeah, and that's fair. And I would be very open to it if, like I said, if it's the right setup. I just
Hmm.
we just barely, Andrew, kind of discarded the ghost of AJ Brown's past. You know, we just barely, as a team, have stopped talking about the AJ Brown controversy. So
Yeah,
why introduce a new one? I think that's the big thing we have to think about
that's a good
is
point. That's a good
um,
point.
it was such a tough leaf to turn over. I'm glad we did. I'm glad we moved on. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Um, let's see here. Any other notes from the defensive side you want to cover, Andrew, before flipping to offense?
I don't think so. Defense played really good. Like you said, 5 sacks on Josh Allen is awesome. You don't see that often because he's such a very evasive and strong quarterback. It's hard to take him down, and 5 sacks is awesome. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else.
Okay. Well, well, let's flip to the offense then. So, I have to start with this quote, Andrew. Um, Kevin Patullo, the Eagles offense coordinator, was he was asked by the press yesterday about some run plays because they ran it into heavy boxes. And
Mm.
his quote about it was, "Sometimes you run it to run it." Um, that might be the dumbest quote I've heard from an offensive coordinator this season. Um, I don't know what that means. I understand I understand what's coming into my ears, but the thought process of how you get to there makes zero sense to me. Um, it cannot be that way. It cannot be that way. If that's the way you're going to run offense, you're going to reap a ton of disappointment. Um, that we have a Super Bowl caliber defense, and I would hate to see us wasted as a team because of the offense. And I think I've seen enough, Andrew, that what we're seeing right now, the issues we're seeing, it really comes down to one person. It comes down to Kevin Patullo. Um, I, I've thought about it. I've given it a lot of thought. There's a guy on Twitter. If you guys aren't following him, his name's Johnny Page. He's the best in the business for breaking down Eagles plays. He's the only one that looks at things from a wholesome perspective. Um, he never gives AJ or Jalen Hurts a break if he doesn't feel like Jalen Hurts doesn't. If Jalen Hurts doesn't deserve a break, he won't give him a break. He will go after him. If it's Nick Sirianni, if it's Kevin Patullo, but some things that he mentioned was for the Eagles on this game because in the second half we really struggled running the football. But he talked about how we we condensed our formations and went jumbo. We pushed people inside, and that pushed extra defenders to the box, which made it more tough for our team to be able to pick up extra yards on running plays. And his comment was is that the scheming of the offense has been done in a way that it's just making it harder. It's harder to be successful. I think the Eagles are number one in the NFL for hitch routes. Um,
Mm.
and I think it's like 25% of the time we run hitch routes. And the offense is just too predictable. It's too predictable.
Yeah.
It's easy to shut it down. Weather was a factor, and people will say it doesn't matter. Weather doesn't matter. It does matter. Some teams are better and more prepared for the weather. Some teams aren't. Um, and I'm getting really tired of the narrative, Andrew, that whenever Jalen Hurts succeeds, it's because of the team. It's because of the receivers. It's because of the offensive linemen.
Mm,
It's because of the running back. But if they fell, well, it's Jalen Hurts' fault. It's all his fault.
yeah.
If he was a better quarterback, then things would be better. I mean, our center, Cam Jurgens, who I think is a good guy, played like absolute trash in the second half of this game. Multiple moments where he's just letting the defender run past him, blowing up running schemes, getting pressure on Jalen Hurts. Um, it, I know that Jalen Hurts didn't have a second half completed pass, and that's fair. But there were times that receivers dropped passes. There were times that no one was open. The scheming is not working well. Running game isn't working. I I feel like the Eagles are able to be successful with Jalen Hurts on offense in spite of their identity right now, in spite of the weird moves that they're making with play calling. Um, so I just think that there's going to be a notion out there among people that, hey, Jalen Hurts is the reason that they struggle in the second half, and I don't think that's fair. On a 3rd and 10, I think it was their last drive. Um, yeah, it was a 3rd and 12. Jalen Hurts throws the ball to Devontae Smith. It goes right through Devontae's hands. It's
Mm.
there. And Devontae doesn't make the catch. And it's very frustrating because um, we cannot have that level of inconsistency. You got to make the catch, especially a 3rd and 12. Like, got to get it. There were also some weird or some weird ref decisions in this game. Devontae Smith catches a pass and they turn it over, saying it's incomplete. I watched that play at least 3 to 4 times, and I don't see an incompletion. And this is another notion out here. And I just want to cover this really quick before I forget, Andrew. The referees have got to stop overturning catches. This is absurd. It's absurd the amount of catches they're turning over because of the tiniest ball movement.
Mhm.
Like, get over yourselves. Get over your dumb rules. And I don't care what the rules say. Cut these receivers some slack.
I don't even know what a catch is anymore because they change rule so many times. And like you said, using your eyes, yeah, he caught that ball. And then the refs, and I don't think it's fully them. It's, the review team, whoever the review team is, overturns it. And you're thinking, how? There's been like you have great explanations of yours, and there's been 3 or 4 times with the Vikings the same thing happened, and then against the Falcons, was it Monday Night Football? Puka Nakua catch on the sideline. To
I
me,
know.
that's a catch. I I don't know what the rule is. It's so silly.
I think they need to change the rule. The rule should become that as long as you don't drop the ball, as long as you don't drop the ball going out of bounds, it could be a catch. I think that's the easiest way to govern it. Because if you drop it, like okay, if it rubs the ground, if you drop it, um, like if there's deliberate ball movement where like it shifts from your shoulder to your waist, like okay, in those situations where it probably touches the ground, I could see it. But I mean like from here and it's like, oh, sorry, now it's not a catch because you moved it the tiniest bit. It has to be completely
Hmm.
still. Um, it's just asinine. I know that I need to let it go, Andrew, and I'm not really even angry for my team. I'm angry for Puka Nakua. Like it's got to stop. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm gonna keep pounding the pulpit for it until it happens.
Hmm.
Give give the coaches their 3 challenges to challenge on whatever they want. Give it to them. The referees need to be like I don't know how to say it kindly, Andrew, so I'm just gonna say it. They need to be publicly humiliated. If you miss a call, you need that public humiliation. You can't miss the call. Like you can't do that. I mean, look at what happened with the tush push. I think it was last week, right, or 2 weeks ago, where there was I think it was Landon Dickerson that was in a false start. He did jump off sides, and they called it. And guess what? They made the play. They figured it out. They were taught that they needed to do this. They were able to do it. You know,
Hmm.
these referees are making $300,000 a year. Like they're not making chump change. They are not struggling for survival. If they are, man, I don't know how much money you need to make a year in order to not struggle, but please help me understand. Um, anyway, I just had to make that comment real quick that it's enough. Enough of the
Hmm.
go back and fix this because this is just absurd. And I think that this idea that the NFL has about performance-based incentives for pay for referees is the right call. So
Mm,
I hope that they move to that system because something's got to be done, man. Something has to be done.
yeah.
Um, uh, okay. I know I've taken probably a little too long, so let me finish up here. Saquon Barkley, I thought was fine. Could have been a little better. AJ Brown, congrats. First receiver in Eagles history to have 4 yards of 1,000 yard seasons, or four
Hmm.
seasons of 1,000 yards. That's a big deal. And that's just a sign of the fact how much we've had struggles on offense. The first receiver ever. I mean, Randy Moss probably broke that for you guys, or was that Chris Carter for the Vikings? Or is there a receiver before that?
Yeah, I think we've had a few. I think we've had a few, and Jefferson just broke the Randy Moss catch record for the Vikings in this past game. So congrats to him on that. But yeah, we've had really good receivers on our team. It's been other positions like quarterback or other things like that that we've struggled with, but receivers, we've had a ton of good ones. So I don't know what the actual statistic is, but I would assume that Carter, Moss, Jefferson, and before that we had Anthony Carter back in the day. I'm sure they had multiple 1,000 yard years.
Okay. Well, I was surprised that this is only this was the first
Yeah.
time for the Eagles. I mean, 4 seasons doesn't feel like a ton. I mean, it is. It's a big accomplishment by AJ Brown. I don't want to take anything against him or away from him, but just kind of crazy. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I think that that's pretty much it for my notes on offense. I covered what I wanted to. I do want to cover to the 2 point conversion at the end of
So
the game.
yes.
Sean McDermott's getting a lot of flack for that. And all I'm going to say is this: Josh Allen, you have to make that throw. He
Yeah, he
knows
was
it.
open. He was wide open. Shakir was
Yeah,
right there.
yeah,
Now, Allen was getting pressured. Eagles defense did good of getting people in his face, but yeah, that's a throw you have to make. And I absolutely love the call, the decision to do it.
yeah,
Go
yep,
for the win. Don't go for OT.
yep.
Go for the win. I loved it.
Well, I think it's a very simple, great criteria. You only get to be mad as a fan at the coaches for a 2 point conversion call or risky call if there's nothing there. If the concept failed from the
Yes.
very beginning,
Yes.
absolutely. You have every right to be upset. If the concept is there and you can get it, you have no right to be mad at them. Like,
Yep.
let me give an example of this. The Monday Night Football game with the Eagles and Chargers, where Jalen Hurts throws a deep pass to AJ Brown and it goes right through his hands. No reason he should have dropped it. And we end up losing the game. People flacked Patullo for that third down call. I have no problem with it. If it's
Hmm.
there and the catch can be made, I'm sorry, 100% of the blame deserves to go on that player because they didn't execute. It cannot go
Hmm.
on the coaches. If they called it and it's there and it's open, you got to execute. But Josh Allen knows that. We don't need to kill him for it. But he
Hmm.
knows that he costed his team. Um, and it happens. The Bills will
Yeah.
be a better team because of that call to me. It's better to
Yeah.
know how to be able to navigate tight windows and know, hey, we can do this. It's there. I just have to get the ball to the right spot. Um, but last points. Jake Elliott, glad he rebounded this game. I know that having a 47-yard field goal, I think it was 38-yard field goal, is not amazing, but compared to what we had 2 weeks ago, I'll
Yes,
happily
he did.
take
He
that.
did miss a field goal. Awesome. That's all you want.
Yep. And very glad that Britton Covey is not injured. Thought there might be a chance after that ridiculous punt return issue where he almost got completely clipped by a defender that wasn't paying attention. Um, but yeah, so here we are, last week of the season. No idea if they're going to get the 2 or 3 seed. Um, we'll see what happens. I personally, Andrew, want the Eagles to play their backups because I want to see what
Mhm.
our backups can do. And then if we get the 2 seed, great. If not, go for the 3 seed. But we'll see what they decide.
Yeah, there's not a huge difference between the 2 and 3 seed, honestly, because you're playing the Packers, who are could be a dangerous team, or you're playing the Rams, who could be a dangerous team.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. Any other notes that you wanted to make about this game?
No, no, I think you covered it all. The main thing I was looking at, I was like, man, not a completed pass in the whole second half. But yeah, you touched on that, and Offense looked great for 2 straight weeks, and then this week it didn't look great again, but you got the
Fair.
win. That's what is needed. And I'm kind of on the side of maybe playing your starters in the last game. That way your offense can get a little momentum. Maybe play them the first half and then sit them the second half. But play in the first half, get your offense in rhythm because um, going into the playoffs, you want your team going in rhythm and having success and being confident rather than the opposite side. And we'll get into our playoff picks probably next week sometime. But I'm concerned for the Rams. They've been struggling recently.
I
I
agree.
know Devontae Adams is hurt and that hurts their offense, but you got to play better than that. And losing to the Falcons, and the Falcons are playing well, give them credit, but having success and momentum going into the playoffs is huge. So the Rams are on a like possibly one and done alert. I know
I
they're
agree.
I mean, if they're playing like the Bears, I probably would pick them, but I wouldn't have confidence. I'd be like, this, I could see the Bears winning this game. Like 3 weeks ago, if it was Rams
Hmm.
at Bears, I'd be like, yeah, Rams win, no problem. But now I'm thinking, I don't know. I could see the Bears actually winning. Not that the Bears are an amazing team, but the Rams are struggling. Momentum really matters. So I would say I would prefer the Eagles to play their starters in the first half, get their offense in rhythm with confidence, looking good, maybe 4 or 5 yards of play, something positive, and then shut them down in the second half and get them healthy and get prepared for the playoffs. That's what I would say.
It's fair. I understand. Um, I, I want to feel that way. I just cannot stop thinking of 2023 when AJ Brown got majorly hurt and we never saw him in the playoffs.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it's
That
definitely a risk.
and that's the tough part, man, is that um for those that think back to their school days, I was the kid Andrew that anytime I chose to even somewhat kind of cheat, and I mean like very small cheat, like like small, the teachers would catch me. And I feel like that this is the
Hmm.
Eagles in that scenario. Anytime they just kind of want to push it and see if they can make this happen, you know, Saquon Barkley break a leg or AJ Brown hamstring injury. Like I just feel like that's what
Yeah,
would happen. And it's like, oh, can we
that's
catch a
fair.
break?
Like last year when Saquon was could have broken the all-time record,
Yeah,
they shut him down. And
yeah.
I understood. I didn't like the call. I wanted to see him break it, but I understood. And in the end, that was the right call because a Super Bowl championship probably is greater than just the record. But
He and I think that part that people forget about. He broke the total rushing yards record. He broke Terrell Davis's record,
yeah,
which to me I think is awesome. If I had to
yeah,
choose which records I'd want to break as a player, give me the one where I break the total record.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And the last thing I'll say, you brought it up. I think this is a fun story about cheating in school. Um, I was the kid that never really did cheat, but I had people cheat off my papers. And there was this guy, his name is AJ. If you're watching, I'm gonna tell this story. Um, I think it was reading class, like in sixth or seventh grade. I want to say it was sixth grade. And we had a test we were doing, and I was writing my name down, writing some answers, and I saw him peeking over my shoulder. I was like, oh, okay. So I wrote down the wrong answers on purpose. He went and turns his in first, super confident. I'm over here changing my answers. He looks at me, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm changing some answers. He's like, what? And then he goes, tries to get his paper back, and it's too late. The teacher's already grading it. I love that
So
story,
how many were wrong? Like, did you mark them all wrong?
basically.
Oh, dude. AJ, my adult heart hurts for you, man.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a good time. I enjoyed that. I felt very proud of myself for that.
Yeah, that's funny, man. That is really funny.
Yeah, well, I don't have anything else, nothing else on this game. Excited to see the playoffs, and honestly, like I said earlier, I think the Eagles are like one of two or three teams in the NFC that has a true chance to make the Super Bowl because the Rams are struggling, because I don't believe in the Bears, and the Packers have a lot of injuries they're
Hmm.
dealing with. So really, to me, it's kind of Seahawks, Eagles, and then maybe Bears, but that's a maybe. That's where I'm at right now. Because I mean, if the Rams could get things together, they said that they're starting all their players in the last week of the season, which
They sure did.
I agree with. I agree with because they've been struggling. Like I said, teams need to get confidence and rhythm going into the playoffs, and they have a good team. Maybe they can get a run going, but I don't like what I'm seeing. So it's just basically Eagles and Seahawks, and you know how I feel about Sam Darnold in big moments.
Well, I think you got to put the Niners in there. I think the Niners
Oh
have
yeah, I
done
forgot
enough.
about absolutely. I forgot about the Niners. I knew there was a team I was forgetting. Yeah, absolutely about the Niners. Yeah, they're the third team, not
They
the
have to
Bears.
be in. The one
Yeah,
part that I'm curious for the Niners is that defense.
yeah,
Can they really do enough to beat high functioning offenses? Because the Bears offense took that defense to the woodshed.
they did. They did. Yeah,
I mean,
made them
they
look like a
absolutely
JV
just,
squad.
yeah. And to be fair, they have huge injuries, and that's a big part of the problem. They have a lot of injuries
Yeah.
that prevent them from being what they could be.
Hmm.
Um, I definitely don't want to face the Niners in the first round on the Eagles, but I think at this point, it's kind of too late to worry about it. If you have to face them, you have to face them. Um,
I think it's
but
either going to be
they're
the
a good
Niners
team.
or Seahawks
So right
because
now, it's if they're the three seed, it's the Niners or the Seahawks. Oh, sorry, no, the Niners or the Rams. That's who they would get.
okay,
The Niners or the Rams, and then if they get the second seed, it would be the Packers. So those are the three opponents
that's
they could
guaranteed.
face.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
So
mean, honestly, I probably prefer the Packers because they've been struggling of late. And after Minnesota beats their brakes in, they're gonna have even less confidence.
well, I'm interested. Uh, um, this is the second year in a row that there's a game that's deciding the one seed, and one team will
The
be the fifth seed, and one team will be the one seed.
Yep.
So, by the way, Sunday Night Football opportunity missed. What a like to me. If I'm Sunday Night Football, I am so mad that that's the game I got.
Yeah.
Give me the Panthers and the Buccaneers. Give me the 49ers and Seahawks. Give me the Saints and Falcons. Like, give me a game that I actually feel confident is going to be a good game. This Steelers team,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not very
Yeah.
confident
I'm
in that
I'm
team right
with
now.
you on that 49ers Seahawks game. That should have been a Sunday Night Football game, but interesting thing happened with the Falcons win.
Yeah,
Now the Buccaneers, if they win, they're not guaranteed to get in.
yeah,
They need the Falcons to lose to the Saints. It's wild. It's
crazy,
wild.
man. I just think that would have been such a fun Sunday night football game just to see what would have happened. But
Well,
that's me.
yeah, but if the Saints end up losing that game, then the decision's already made. The Panthers are division winners.
I guess that's true, but the decision wouldn't happen until that game. Like you would have to see what the result is of that game.
Yeah.
I guess that's just my way of saying, Andrew. I mean, the Steelers offense, especially with DK Metcalf being a
No,
clown,
absolutely. 49ers
it's
Seahawks
just
should have been the
non-existent.
game. Yeah.
It's just such an opportunity missed, man. It's such an opportunity
Hmm.
missed. And I guess I see what you're saying about the Buccaneers game because now if the Buccaneers win, if they were on the Sunday night game, well, no, but we would know by that point the Saints Falcons game would have been over if they had put
Yeah,
that on Sunday
so
Night Football.
but yeah, so if the Saints Falcons game was already over, the division winner already would have been crowned, or
Yeah,
it comes down to that game. So there's a chance where that game wouldn't matter.
I don't know. I just
And I
I
like that they put the Panthers Buccaneers game on Saturday because
yeah.
that game
So it still matters.
absolutely matters then. And then if the Buccaneers win, they're sweating that Falcons Saints game.
What a wild thing if the Buccaneers win and they're still not making the playoffs.
I
What a
know. I
wild
know.
outcome.
I know. And apparently they say that Todd Bowles is not getting fired, which he's a good coach, but the way he's throwing players under the bus and the way this team is playing, I would fire him.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that in another segment when we get to our
Yeah.
picks. I do think Baker Mayfield's being scapegoated, or not scapegoated. I think he's escaping some pressure. I think that he
Mm.
deserves more. Um,
Oh, for sure. He's had some terrible interceptions.
I mean, terrible. I mean, awful.
Hmm.
I just I don't know, man. It's interesting, but there's so much for us to get to for our picks this week. And
Yes.
I don't want to make this episode any longer than it has to be, Andrew. I've already probably talked way too much about the Eagles.
Well, then that will be exciting for our Vikings episode in the next episode. Well, thank you everyone for joining us in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you next time.
We'll see everybody.